bucket. It goes to the floor. How about that? You and I both get new house coats, huh?
Yeah. Mom, this one is cuddly as yours. And I got some Santa Claus. That's a big piece. I got.
Yours wraps around like Denny's does, doesn't it? Oh, turn around. Let's see. Pretty nice there, kid. Pretty nice.
I got a house coat already.
But you need a new one, don't you, Denny?
No.
Just look up the big one on your new mom.
There. Hey, we got two. Oh,
Is here one? To Eileen from Dave?
This is to me.
Is it what I think it is?
Oh, and slippers.
Is it what I think it is?
Look at I
don't
got
know.
slippers too.
Oh, little mice.
Yeah, you use the boxes from downstairs, sure.
Well, you guys gotta charge these for them to use.
Oh, do it. Oh, really?
Yeah.
I know. No, I didn't. Dave had to take it out to see what it looked like. Oh, I got my lamp. Oh, boy. What the heck? It winds up, too? Oh, my gosh.
Sure, can let me see it.
Where do you get the juice at?
Oh, I'm going to set it over there.
Want to see what your lights look like?
Oh.
There.
How'd you get on with music?
Santa Claus told me.
Oh.
Where's it? It went
Over here, Denny. Ready?
Oh,
Here, Denny, look
right
at Mommy.
there.
See over here.
Oh,
How do you make it go
look at
so
that.
far?
Isn't that beautiful?
You can see it when it's dark.
Like a push.
Oh.
Where do you have two of them?
Thank you, Dave.
Oh, you didn't
Now
know it had
where's
music,
that?
did you?
Over
They
there.
both went over there. Oh,
Move them.
even slippers, Mom.
I could just cry.
Mom, I even got slippers.
Oh, wow, little bunny rabbit.
I got slippers too.
You too?
You wait till night and you turn it on. It's nice when you walk. What's that, a little professor there, Denny?
Let's see, but you didn't take your chair. You had enough in the cart.
Oh, we already got it.
Oh, you do?
We already got the UPC off and back. There's a little hole there.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Where'd you put the UPC, you girls?
I don't know, James is coming.
Buddy.
Okay.
Christmas Day at Donald's place.
Shoot like this. Like he, where did they come out? What door did they come out?
There's Bob Tripp, Stacy, Heidi, John, and Denny. Earl.
Is Carl coming? Yeah. Is he? Yeah. You know what? Pancake feed? Yeah. And he came in and he said that he's going back out to dinner for Christmas and he doesn't want to be around for Christmas.
Donald, what are you
Just what you need in a
Yeah.
cookbook.
What are you doing?
She can learn how to.
Merry Christmas, Eileen.
Yeah! Now, do you know what that is, Dave? Okay, you stick your dimes, nickels, and quarters in here, and it goes into your right place. For your 31 money. Let's give you a funny. Oh, you can just like that. And then you just put this little thing down here, and it closes it, you know how it's got in there. The bank? Yeah, I got one.
Yeah, I got one too, and so did our.
Hey, and Mike and John.
Thanks.
We're getting even for earlier.
Let me see that. Let me see it. I'll let you have it back. I'll let you have it back. Oh. For what? What do you got?
She doesn't like it.
Oh.
She doesn't like it.
No, I think she's talking about the balls. Tracy doesn't like
I burnt myself on your stove. It's hot.
Whatever.
Why not just let it be on?
Do you hear the TV in there?
Oh, you'll pick it up.
Morning.
What? Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's pretty.
Well, what am I? Oh, I wonder what I got here, Donald.
I showed him what they said.
Well, thank you.
What is it?
Huh?
What is it?
You remember that one night when we was over? He was telling Donald.
Tell you up.
Oh, yeah, okay, okay. Greg Jr., Tammy,
Oh, I was.
Greg Gossick.
So Mom just said, she goes, just like Greg when he was little. Oh, she goes, only his hair is sticking out in all different directions.
Guys more college.
Hey, hi!
So Jeff Gossick is coming in the door here now.
You like that? You want to show that to Jeff?
You have a farm?
Maybe what?
Did you come home this morning?
Hi, Jeff.
Yeah, he's right behind me. He should be ready.
Good.
Yeah, I stopped at Grandma's. And
Hair looks pretty good.
Yeah, who cut it?
Oh, the lady that comes from Wagner.
You want me to slice your bread too?
I've never seen it that short on the sides before.
Pretty wild part.
We're
Yeah,
gonna
it was
call
her
about
30th,
6.
so she,
Huh?
I bought her a bottle at 5th of.
I know, but I need the
She likes her Smirnoff, her big Christmas mug, whatever, drink mug.
Hey, Dave.
Hi, Carl.
The old bottle.
Hi.
She drinks that, right?
Benzie.
Oh,
Family deal there, boys.
what is that, man? The ones that are done, they got to sit down, so what you want to try them?
Well, no.
No, we were late. Oh, we were Greg. Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to school.
Where are you going? Are you still living in Success Park? Chance,
I'm
right?
moving down to your office. Can I just slam my
Why?
Hi.
We're a pretty bunch of satisfied.
Real easy goodies, and go ahead and eat. Hey, boss.
Everybody getting ready to eat dinner.
Greg.
My husband was married in March and stand-up
What
weddings.
everybody do, got 5 words?
Yeah.
My sister Helen.
How are you? Good on the bag, right? Here, you want some potatoes? Here.
You need extra flesh.
I'll just have to pass on beans this
It's hot. You must have made a New Year's resolution for Christmas. I did.
Is there one here?
I'm not living there.
Where are you going back to school? We should. We have one. I just learned my name. Ours is not very long.
You did see me though, right?
Oh, yeah, I got a call from your aunt.
My aunt? Oh.
Both calling.
We'll have dessert afterwards. We really don't have enough room for right now.
Alright, Greg's.
Mind your road.
Over there, it's over there. I told that one.
I know what you wanted, but
Probably just to wish us a Merry Christmas.
Today, and I figured no.
Brother-in-law Gene Benzie.
We're visiting my niece. I wouldn't see for a long time.
There's hot cider over here made by the one city.
What's that? We don't want to deal with here.
oh, they ought to pass a law. They got for every 10 new laws they make, they got to repeal 100 old ones.
They're never taking the old ones off.
They met there every 4 years, not every year.
Just like, they used to be an old
So is
saying,
that
like,
Dave's
small
bus driver
and
present?
they always said, whenever the legislature, they tie everything down, whenever the legislature is in session, nothing is saved. You know, nothing is saved.
They meet every year to make all that.
What? No, every year.
Then they have one day, that's a special day after.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, but they meet every year, 1 year, as long as, I mean, if they had a, they had a 45-day session one time, and a
Yeah, but now it's just standard.
standard, what is it, 60 days?
I don't know what it is.
45 days?
It's someplace in between. Month and a half, something like that.
You're a bad waiver.
I'm not saying go. Let's say start every other year and then eventually go to every 4th.
I'm gonna have to have
Well,
Sam.
it's like here, it's like.
You wanna read it?
Well,
Well, you got it here? Yeah, I think so.
Change the bylaws so
She can follow you walking over it.
they
Yeah,
can
they have been over.
their own fee for their meetings and stuff, at their discretion,
You can read out
reasonable.
loud, Jack. All right.
Like I said, it's reasonable for one hand.
So I gotta read it out loud? Maybe they're not.
And
What is it gonna be?
I I really spoke up against it at the meeting. I didn't know that's what they were trying to do.
It is kind of cute.
And I said, well, if this passes, then why don't you just instruct John to sign a whole bunch of checks and leave the amount blank, and then what they feel is reasonable, they just write it in there.
Beautiful tan. All over except for his feet.
I think I
So
better
you got-
stop. Can you imagine I got that and it just clicks?
What?
Felix.
I'll show him that.
Yeah, I got a little something. I think there's something else with it. That's just a little something I got.
See all them flies coming out?
I'm not sure which one it is either. I gave it.
Good, Kevin. That was our cat telling me gone, but now.
Character. Where you been? How you
Hi.
Well, Valerie.
Oh, you're getting heavier too. Whoa.
Donald?
Kevin
Oh.
Stone.
I'm trying to see if the pants fit if they don't fit a lantern or if that's a glove piece.
These are really mild. You and Heidi. Guys, that Ryan named and find it outside on the parking ramp.
Well, Valerie isn't here, so here's what I do. I thought about the other these would be here. It is.
You got your son, he took off.
This is the Valerie. So give that to Ted.
Yeah, okay.
Well, we don't want that. Oh, well. Just leave that on your seat.
Huh? No, we knew they were gonna be too long.
I'm sorry, I saw.
I didn't know if we had any wrenches or not.
M&M?
See, they're the hinge. They're warranty for life. Kmart. It says that, well, we're saying this here. Right here.
Oh, it's a ball
Bill
too.
says,
Greg,
anytime
He used his M&Ms, I think.
Greggy.
we replace the charge, so it's good.
We got my nephew
Is it going?
Kevin here, and his wife Camille, and their daughter Valeria.
Play another game of golf?
Yeah.
Okay. Come here. Merry.
Merry Christmas. You're just shy now. Walk towards the camera. Let them see you walk. Let them see you walk.
You're too close. No, I know.
This is like at Donna's house.
Just to be.
That's already where it was.
Well,
Don.
well, Matt. What? Oh, yeah, I'm not gonna knock it for sure. You got too little there. Not for fun.
Did Mama go bye-bye? Mama go bye-bye.
I ate my food. What they are.
You want a rabbit turn?
No.
Yeah, 3
Catch.
I love it. No place to go.
Make you open the little ones first. He made me wait until.
She didn't find out till about 10 o'clock. We started opening presents about 9.
You wanted to make it on Christmas, huh?
Yeah.
I thought it was in a bigger box. I didn't give it to you.
Another tie. That looked nice.
Here, this is
what'd you wrap here? James, did you get a new game for Christmas?
No, not bad.
Oh, flashlight. They don't work, Denny. Probably needs a battery, huh?
Yeah.
2 of them?
I make you open all the little ones. Okay.
He's playing with my baseball game.
Oh, you got a baseball game?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He gave Mike or John his radio that he had on his wheel.
You can have it back.
I think it's. Oh yeah, it doesn't have any batteries. It works if it's got batteries. If you hang these here things, you can hang those on a big wooden hanger. And
Yeah, I
those
got-
look for tie hangers too.
I got enough of them where I can put them somewhere. I got a shirt to go with my white tie. 3-speed mixer.
What kind
Oh, that's third.
This
I don't know
must be
what.
the shirt to go with it, huh?
Pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it goes real good. Half sleeve and everything.
Okay. Now this is.
Well, I'm getting all kinds of shirts and posters.
This is your big one. There's no way I was gonna send that in the mail. I put rocks in there to make it a little heavier.
Yeah, like their family. They did.
Do they really? What should they put?
A big piece of iron.
Yeah, and all of us in there was what?
A calendar.
Yeah.
On a tip of that calendar.
That was a huge box and a bunch of cavity of like 20 pounds. All of them kind of. What did you get for Christmas besides the ring?
Her shoes.
Oh.
Say,
And
ooh,
a pair of sweaty sweats.
thank you. I need this bad.
I don't know. It's supposed to be the best. It's if I think you got enough room in there for the stuff that she'll have.
I need a open it.
Dan, Heidi, go get a knife out of the kitchen.
Here.
Grab me that scissors there.
Here you go. Do you wear earrings? Yeah, I do. Do you?
Oh, that's pretty. I know that's
That's pretty.
What, this? Yeah. I got a large because I didn't know. I'd rather go a little bit bigger. I told her she couldn't have any candy or cookies till after dinner. So that's why she wanted to eat a sandwich. Keys in there?
No, no, wait a minute.
Oh, I'm just kidding.
When's your tooth gonna come in?
Coming already. We
Oh,
left
yeah?
it last night.
Down here. What are you trying to do? Oh, it's got 10.
I got 14.
Yeah. You're on your honor.
Now that's gotta be a good one.
This will be a good one.
You guys, I didn't know you was doing that. You want my profile? See this dip here? See this nose here? Oh my gosh. David, what's your instruction? I'm not laying down.
Successful as an opportunistic team. They have turned things around in the giveaway and takeaway area. And with Kenny Johnson, a 10-year pro out of Mississippi State, usually known as a show-handed return man.
I couldn't stop. I took it out of gear and I was sliding right towards it. Mr. Belfort.
Haggerty and his crew.
A different way.
got 5 minutes.
Yeah, but then when I'm done, I'm gonna have to finish this book before I go to bed. Uh-oh. Mommy.
No, it's not like that. I'm here about your
Oh no. How long have you been?
Something pink.
No.
Something.
No.
I don't want to hear nothing that's
What's it from?
Come on, Henry, how are you gonna pull this off? Do you know how much
Sometimes.
time and energy demands for a 2-year-old or a 10-year-old? Do you have any idea how much it costs to feed and raise a child?
Arthur had
You can, working 24 hours a day. Then how are you gonna have time for your reading program and the tech classes at the hospital? You're just gonna throw all that away, right?
fold
I'm keeping him, Dr. Metzger.
his book so close that his nose got in the
You
way.
take that baby.
He
Right now.
couldn't
Be like nothing ever happened.
see the book.
But if you don't take that baby back to the
Francine.
hospital, Dr. Judd's
Francine
gonna call.
had
I'm not gonna
to
stop her.
read.
You call it.
Arthur,
I'm my son out of here. You'll never see him.
Henry,
No, Grandma. I'm not giving my baby to strangers.
problem.
I know how awful this is for you and how much
Are
you want
you?
it. What about you? Now, she made it very...
I'm not.
Oh. Oh.
My little son Denny, right? Listen up. This is my little daughter, Heidi.
I've all gone off for the evening with a bunch of American birds, but they're about to come to Club House tomorrow night at 10 okay. See that you do it before it's
This is Heidi's braid. Her sister always does that for her. I don't know how. This is Denny's new brown suit. This is my daughter Jane.
brilliant observation, Roxy.
She's special too. And this is my redheaded daughter Amy. She is special. See, this is her bargain dress. And this is her Christmas present and her little cheap skirt she got for swing choir. Aren't we nice? Now shut it off and I will show Dad. Shut up. Okay, now it's your turn, David.
My turn, I'm standing here.
Do something.
I'll pull her here.
Okay. Give your kids a hug.
What, should I give him a hug?
You forgot to.
Oh. Should I give these children too? Help me up.
Where are you going? Jane?
Okay, now it's on. Yes.
Yep. Okay, turn around. That was a dress that I got for the prom, and I wore it to the snowflake ball, and I wore it when I was a senior candidate. Notice that little, turn around in the back ones. It's got those little lacy things, and then it was kind of like an apron type thing over the front, wasn't it? And it used to be a darker pink. Okay, Amy. I had that when I was a sophomore. It was a bridesmaid dress when Barbara Lepore got married. Okay. And Heidi, you got the dress that I wore when I was a flower girl for the May coronation. You know, we crowned the Virgin Mary in church. Turn around. And then that was also my first communion dress, and I was 8 years old when I wore it. How old are you?
6.
6 years old. So you're about as tall as I was when I was 8 years old. Okay, now you can go back. Thank you.
There, now it is.
How long ago was it that I wore it?
I can't see very good. That's
25
blurry.
years ago.
Here, let me look.
25
Oh, just like it's on
years ago.
auto. Yeah, put it on muting.
No, put it on auto.
25 years
Okay, you
ago.
got it going?
Yeah, but it still seems like
focusing in. like this dress.
But I can't even see her face.
It's because the light's in the back, isn't it?
Oh, that could be.
Would it be better if I walked someplace else? You want to take a quick shot of the back? Woo! Kind of a pretty dress, wasn't it? But you know what? Now look at like the lace is ripping underneath here, and nobody else would ever be able to wear it because you'd never be able to get the same kind of lace and stuff like that. Heidi, go tell Dad to come here. See, it's got holes in it. Out in the garage. See, and then it came to that round part in the front.
Oh, I didn't realize it was falling down.
Oh my gosh, I got a really cool.
You'd wear slips underneath them though, wouldn't you, Mom? So it didn't
What?
so much. Well,
Yeah,
everything.
you had little half slips under that one.
That reminds me when Dad says that those Dowd girls came to church one Sunday, they'd be so wide they couldn't get in the pew, and the next time it was week they'd be so slim.
You can turn around to the front of me. I can't see very good, but I think
they
that.
had those cans on, you
So
know,
you can't
then you
focus.
couldn't hardly go in the pew. Can you imagine sitting down in church with them?
Oh.
Gee, Eileen, was you that little around the waist?
Mm-hmm. You got the veil over your face?
Uh-huh. Can we take that?
Yeah, push it back.
But somebody else push it back for me. I don't want something to rip.
Now, whose dress have you got on, Amy?
Heidi?
I got on my
I mean, Heidi.
My mom.
That was Mom's.
Oh, so was that your
flower girl.
communion dress, Heidi?
Mm-hmm. Okay, bridesmaid, where are you at? Bridesmaid, where are you at?
I'm at the bridesmaid.
Let's see here, little can. Turn all the way around.
Yeah, flip her. Bend over that way, Amy.
Yeah, bend over the other way.
Bend over.
Heidi, come here. You get on the other side. You're the flower girl. Okay, mother of the bride, where are you at?
Say, Heidi, come here a second.
Where are you at, Mom?
I'm over here. I got my coat on.
Well, you want to turn all the way around so we can see the back? You couldn't see the back when I had it on because I couldn't get it zipped. Oh, I wasn't supposed to admit that.
No, but gee, when you stop to think of it, you sure were little.
What size is this, Mom?
I don't even know what size it was. Turn around again. I want to get the back.
What, Mom?
I got it on.
I had quite a time getting that dress that time, didn't I?
Yeah.
How much was that dress, Mom?
My wedding dress? My wedding dress?
Yeah.
$52.
Ooh, that was a lot of money.
Amy, now it's your turn.
I don't think
Maybe
Amy,
I can move around.
I don't think Amy could try it on
Break
yet.
something.
Can you help her
I don't
move?
think she'd want to.
Just try to go this way. Go that way.
I tried it on James, but you never got me on the camera with it on.
Oh, you still dressed with it? Okay, let's see what you look like with close up now. Hi, Amy. Let's see what you look like as a bride. I can't see your face with this thing and that it's so dark.
I couldn't see yours either. That's why I was wondering if it was focused or not. We'll have to put it in the VCR.
Hey, do that again. Turn sideways like that.
Then my nose sticks out.
Come on, turn around sideways. Amy.
Amy, don't. Oh, my nose sticks out. She wants to see.
Just look straight north.
Be careful
Put
if
your
you
hand
get
down.
any nose. You know what, when Mark moves to the side, his nose is pushed in just like Mike's, ain't it?
Yeah, only Mike's was worse.
Yeah, but Dan...
Heidi, where are you at?
I'm right here.
Okay, turn around. Let's see whose dress was that now?
Mine.
That was Amy's dress? Oh. You want to put the veil on Heidi too, Amy?
I can do it.
But it's not, his nose is a lot like Mike's.
Mm-hmm. Heidi, I think you're a little bit too little to try the wedding dress on, but you can try the veil on, can't you? Let's see if I'll get you really close.
Too, didn't you? Mine's a hat.
Hi, Heidi.
Hi.
You're special.
You want to try this one on, Heidi? Sure.
Now, what is that?
Amy and I both wore this when we were married.
Oh.
In church, you know, we both had to be
oh.
married at Christmas time. And Mom made it. I wore it to a couple concerts. I wore it to a couple concerts. Yeah. Try
Bye, girls.
Oh, I'm boring. I just got my jeans on, didn't I?
Hi, Mother.
Well, are you?
Mom.
Just a minute.
Hi. I got you rubbing your eyes.
I always look so terrible when I have a picture taken.
Should we see how good a complexion you got?
Oh, no.
Okay, bye.
Or on record.
Okay, go turn around. Okay, now I want you to do something. While you're taping, okay, you stand there and look straight north. Have you got a profile?
Yep.
You got a little nose?
Yep. You know who that looks like?
Get a profile of my nose? Amy, come here. You want a profile of your nose too?
You want to know who Heidi looks like, Mom, on that deal?
Who?
Me, when I was
I
little.
know it very much. So we've looked at movies and that, and it's like that.
That profile especially.
Gee, you're all changed.
You look like
Okay.
Jane in this
Should we
book.
take that out
Is
and look at it? That would be kind of short, wouldn't it?
No.
You can see my name.
Would you like a dress like that made for Mike's wedding? No? You think so? Well, not that short.
I was thinking it said short. Not short.
No. Turn around.
Well, people on TV wear short things like that anymore.
Yeah.
Last
Heidi,
night-
stand out. Jane, stand by Heidi.
You know, last
Whoops,
night we had
sorry,
that
Mom.
$100,000.
Want to get our profiles?
Yeah, get their profiles. Look straight north again. Can I get your profile, Amy? To see if your nose and Heidi's nose are the same?
No, they're not.
Let her do it.
Yeah.
I'm just holding her hair down.
Keep going. Stay there. Whoop.
I'll hold
Straight
it.
north.
What does it look like?
I'll let you see after we get done. Mom, you should be up there too. Okay.
Okay, that's good. Now let's
There we go.
on automatic though, isn't it?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, what do you think? Neat, huh?
You should have it, flop it over your...
Denny wanted to know where my part was on my headpiece. You know I have that hat. He goes, which part goes over your face? I says, well, this one doesn't go like that.
That would look kind of funny, wouldn't it?
Okay.
That's first thing
You pay a lot for them, but who's going to save a guarantee for 5 years, right?
Don't show us the tape.
25-year clock in there.
Hi, sweetie. Hi, sweetie. Hi, sweetie.
Are you gonna film me with riding my Bigfoot? You better not.
Why not?
Did you see my Bigfoot?
I suppose.
Hi.
Hi, Val.
They got cheese popcorn, not pumpernicks this afternoon.
Just flattening up there.
I was starting
Right up
That cheese
front.
popcorn's down at
Right at the
Pumpernicks.
checkout.
Yeah, we
Right
got
at
it.
the checkout.
It's under the furnace, tape.
Yeah. You know where they put the oil in?
Oil,
No, you should go in.
There we go. We want to get down.
That door where the freezers are, right here on this side, take that cat down, show it to Cat Lou.
I don't know where it is down there.
I just told you, you can't miss it, it's this big one, I bet you $10 you can't find it.
To your right, first time you go in there.
Right as you go in the door, Rick, you can't miss it.
You will. You got some proof, huh? They're working there.
Yep. We'll have some proof here now. The ladies are now working.
Get my good side, would you? That's the best.
Nicole?
You let you have it all right. Yesterday that one felt really good, wouldn't it?
Is that hot?
He was feverish.
Oh.
I played
Chew on you too, hadn't we?
Kevin must do the
Cat right here was
Relax.
You got my beer.
The other night, Buddy had a wiener, and you know, he...
Well, you don't want no part of that camera. Nobody's watching Eileen with it.
Snuggles. Hi, Snuggles. Hi,
I think
Snuggles.
Amy bunny ears.
Maybe it's just me.
Yeah.
I think you lost your ears,
I
Heidi.
think it's me. Yeah, but she was taking your picture.
Hi, Maxine.
Hi, Eileen.
Should I get you the best side?
At the backside.
I need my hat, man.
Hey, look, Amy, put hat up here. Put that hat up here.
Take a picture of Matilda.
Oh, there's Matilda.
Hi, Donnie.
Bye.
Dave and Denny sweeping the floor. You can tell there's an amateur.
Can I get my picture on there? Don't you dare.
Hi, Denny.
You're on the movie now, aren't you?
Hi, Brenda.
Take it, Chris is a lot cuter. Take it.
Chris, are you a lot cuter? Where's Danny? Danny. Hi, Danny. But we're going to use the same pattern. She's going to have her first communion dress like her sisters. Right? And I don't know what we're going to do about him yet. Dan and Mike wore the same top when they made their first communion. But I don't know if I...
Good.
Who'd you dance with?
Who was your date?
Everybody? I didn't go with anybody.
You didn't go.
Did the girls ask boys? Sure, you're supposed to be moving. Jackie, get up. Hey, Jackie, get up and model your dress. Sure. Come here.
Andrea should get up
Come
and
on,
dance.
we want to see what your dress looks like.
You ought to see.
Hey, we gotta see. Come here.
Is that right? What does he do?
Come here.
He's
Can I
a
take you, sweetie?
fertilizer and chemical salesman.
Oh.
Come here, AJ. AJ.
AJ.
Come here. Come here.
AJ, what's your name?
What's your name? Can you tell me
We're
what your
gonna
name
see
is?
Aaron
What's your
being
name?
shy.
You got buttons in your hair.
AJ.
Can you film it? Show him your pretty hair.
Show me your hair. Turn your head.
Turn your head.
They've never been on.
Let's see your buttons.
Don't they?
Let's see your buttons.
This one guy was saying that what you do, you put the camcorder on and you put the tape over the red thing, you know, so you can't see the light. And then you just leave it set. And then that's when you get everybody in the natural. Jackie, go send me your dad.
Come here.
Jackie natural.
I see Jackie. Hi.
Jackie, stand it.
Ah.
We got a picture.
We got it.
You got your picture now, so you don't have to worry.
That way we can see if mom grows.
Please. Come on.
Hey, that way.
Ah, the girl.
Isn't that pretty? Oh, I like yours. That's so cute.
Oh, aren't you guys pretty?
There. Now you've got this.
Okay, now everybody
Shine
say your
natural
name.
family.
Say your name.
Then you
Okay?
hear that. Say, I'm Jackie.
Jackie.
That was natural. What grade are you in?
Jackie, get over here now.
What grade are you in?
Kindergarten.
What's your teacher's name?
Let's hope.
Not talking to my dad.
Miss Holfer? Okay. What about you? You're next. What's your how come on, Aaron. What grade are you in? Okay, who's your teacher? Do you have a lot of kids in your class? Whole bunch?
25 in per section.
Gee, I guess that is quite a few at that.
Do they have more than one class of first graders?
They have 2 classes of 25.
Okay. Little pigtail kid.
What's your name?
What's your name? Can you say? Can you show them your hair? Are you funny? Have you ever seen you act this way?
Give Daddy a kiss. Give Daddy a kiss.
No.
Tickle Daddy's whiskers.
No.
This is on the camera.
You monkey.
They'll send you the whole video.
She's got little
saying
buttons
look
in her
at
hair.
your like,
Look at me so they can see your buttons. Look at me.
turn your head around. Look at me, honey. Look at me. Can they see your buttons?
Buttons.
Oh, pretty.
Who's got the buttons?
What are those in your hair? What is this? Can you say? Aren't you talking?
Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Say goodbye.
Okay.
Yeah, you can. Shy. Well, they're
Oh, that was
imitating their dad, really shy in front of the camera.
Are you
You
shy?
tell them your name and
Yeah.
your stuff.
How, what's your
Where
name?
you live. All gone.
Is that a duck?
Let me get a different
Father's gonna have Lenten devotions the Thursday after Ash Wednesday.
Was that the first time?
Yeah. So do you want to make a batch of cookies?
Yeah, I can. I think.
Okay, you want to make your famous Bernice cookies because your cookies turn out better than mine do. And then I'll try some. I think I'll see if Grace Gow would make some oatmeal cookies because she makes really good oatmeal cookies. And I thought I'd make some peanut butter cookies.
And if I make them for that, they'll be a flop.
6, and 5.
I have an idea that you have read this book quite a few times because she knows what it says before without reading the words right away.
Jackie, look at the
Where
words
is your
before
shirt?
you say.
Yeah, you know what, Dave, we should have went to
Had a party.
Chamberlain.
It was
Yeah.
Gosh, that would have been something for this
It's
town.
just a
wouldn't it?
magnet that pulls the stuff
We've
up
come a long
underneath.
ways
Yes.
to see
his
it.
farm
Underneath.
friends came to the party. I'm looking at the
Don't
word.
they had over there, it's kind of wild.
I don't know that word.
They.
They had a big cake. Happy birthday, Robert, said. Oh, look at this.
This way you can't
Of
do it.
his friend. Happy birthday to you. This is the funny part.
Okay.
The cake was filled very pretty red roses. He put his nose on
Bring me
it,
that red light, would you?
right onto
Into, yeah.
into it.
One.
One.
You gotta take
Oh,
your chance.
yeah.
So he
No, I just gonna get the
$2,000
can.
stuff, him and John.
Caused you
got
too much
commotion. They
Sorry.
$2,000 worth of stuff. So we went there to the meeting
I
side.
don't got
You have
one.
to buy your stuff.
Oh, so he sold
You have
the
five?
people. But he wanted to finish up with the 2,000, he had.
Danny,
what,
would you like a little
$3,000
pop?
sold $1,100 worth of stuff.
Would you like a little
Sharp.
orange
Yeah,
pop?
I was gonna buy some. And then him and John finished.
Hi guys.
Uh-oh, easy one. Out, that's a three. Bye, Johnny.
Auditorium. And then we were going to have Jeannie play the piano. But she, thanks to Wayne Blair, we have a little board organ we're borrowing. We've been using it for most of the year. And she was playing her pieces that she's going to do at contest. I thank all of you for coming. We just had a really good turnout. And in all of this hurry, I forgot to thank Linda Wegleitner. I think all of you have met her. She's my aide that I have had all year. She's a certified teacher who's working as an aide. So let's all give her a hand. Like I said before, this program is just being put together now with all of us together. The first grade are going to start. They're going to do a little poem. Start again. Start again.
One little bird with lovely red wings. Sat beside another, and they went too. Two little birds singing in a tree. Another bird came along, then there were three. Three little birds wishing their horn. Another bird came along, then there were four. Four little birds
Just a minute.
Please follow me, I want to play. Yes, John, but remember not to get your feet wet in a puddle. Wet in a puddle out there. John always does what his father says. He makes sure not to get his feet wet in a puddle. Out there, but I'll smash a little. Wow, this is fun. You went all over. My feet are dry. My good friend.
Let's start again. Let's go down here.
You are all my good friends. I want you to tell me how my den smells. Oh, Lion, I am not too afraid to tell you how your den smells. It smells terrible. If you cleaned it for a whole day, it still would smell terrible. Good. You are no friend of mine. Get out and don't ever come back, or I'll wake you up. What a silly thought. I am your Frankie, Brian. Not what some of your den smells. It smells like a spring garden. In this corner, it smells like roses. In this corner, it smells like lilies. Here, you fine monkey. You are nowhere to be found. Get out and don't ever come back, or I'll wake you up. And how do you think my den smells? Well, Your Majesty, I can't really tell. I have a bad pulse, and I can't smell anything. You are very wise, my friend. You have to say both my feelings and your own skin.
I am the wind. Oh, how strong I am. I am stronger than the sun.
Oh, no, Mr. Wayne. I am stronger than you.
Let us see. Look at that pan in the black coal.
I see him.
Let us see if you make that man take off his coat first.
All right, you go first.
Woo! Oh, how cold I am! Woo! I want that coal.
Oh, what a strong wind.
Woo! I want that coal.
How cold it is. I will go and put 2 coats on.
Oh, Mr. Sun, made the man take off first. Oh, Mr. Sun, if I can't blow off this coat, you can't shine it off.
We will see. No, I am not so cold. What a fine day. First it was hot and now it's cold. Now I am too hot. I will take off one of my coats.
Oh, Mr. Sun, made the man take off his coat. I guess there's more than one way to be strong. I'm going to, Mrs. Wigglider was going to do this. She isn't here, so I'm going to have, let's see, did you have, make sure that everyone gets that. I'll tell you a little bit about what we're doing on this one. I'd like you each to have a copy of the poem Bugs by Margaret Wise Brown. She is a very famous children's poet. This is one of the techniques that we have used in chapter. We are following the whole language approach as part of our program, and poetry is being used. If you remember poetry like I do, it was memorizing poems. Now we're putting poems in the hands of the kids and following a certain pattern and letting them write their own. We've done this with 3rd and 4th graders. Everyone should have a copy of it. It's common to the kids. It's bugs. I like bugs. Black bugs, green bugs, bad bugs, mean bugs. Any kind of bug. A bug in a rug, a bug in the grass, a bug on a sidewalk, a bug in a glass. I like bugs. Now we're into adjectives and descriptive words. Round bugs, shiny bugs, fat bugs, buggy bugs, big bugs, ladybugs. I like bugs. Now on your second page, you'll notice the pattern that is used. So we let the kids write their own poem together using all the descriptive words they could think of, and they also have to use a rhyming word. So what we do for the rhyming words, we'll take like a bug in the grass. Then we will brainstorm together and think of all the words that rhyme with grass. And then think of one that would make sense in a poem. After we did that, we let each one do their own poem. So they're going to read one that they did together, and then after that, each one has their very own poem. And if you know these kids at all, they chose Rusty loves fish, they help on the rhyming words. Okay? Go ahead.
Cats. I like cats. Tan cats, black cats, fat cats, thin cats, any kind of cat. A cat in a house, a cat in the snow, a cat in a box, a cat named Joe. I like cats. Brown cats, bouncy cats, little cats, little cats, sleepy cats, baby cats. I like cats.
Okay, we'll start with Karen.
I like butterflies. I like butterflies. Orange butterflies, pretty butterflies, flying butterflies, pink butterflies, any kind of butterfly. A butterfly in a jar, a butterfly in a tree, a butterfly on a star, a butterfly. I like butterflies. Fat butterflies, shiny butterflies, brown butterflies, big butterflies, spotted butterflies, skinny butterflies. I like butterflies.
Real loud.
Shells. I
Okay. And then it'll work. Some lucky person will get to take it home.
What was that?
So then, did you get a little wager or? Me and Corey?
Recruiting high school athletes to be a part of this program, and the story is that he went to Minneapolis looking for some good high school athletes, and he got close to the cities, and it said Twin Cities left, so he came back home. So that's the kind of, that's why I'm worried about him sometimes. It's good to see you here, because I was asked by Coach a couple of weeks ago, in fact, more than that, I guess, maybe a month ago, to be a part of this gathering, and I've been so busy with basketball and been gone a lot the last few days, and Coach called me yesterday. He says, well, I want to remind you about the banquet tonight, Tuesday night, and I said, well, you know, okay, I've got it on my calendar. I thought, geez, I better start thinking about football here again. If I'm going to talk to you folks for a little bit, and I thought, gosh, you know, I got to look back a little bit, and the first thing that came to my mind was the Morris football game at the end of the season. That's a terrible way to start this thought about football. So I'm going to go back and look at the file. So I take out the file and I started looking back, and gee, the first football game I see is Kearney State. Well, that's good football. Gee, we won that game, and we were behind, and a great crowd, and the weather was beautiful. We come back and win the football game. Tommy blocks the extra point, and we go down the field, and Eric kicks the field goal to win the football game. Great win. Everybody feels great. Great way to start the season. I thought, gee, that's a pretty good start for this season. And I thought back about the Huron football game, and I thought, gee, you know, here's a football team that kind of put a blemish on our schedule in 1988. And gosh, we drilled those guys pretty good at Huron on their own field. And, that was a great football game. That's a pretty good game. Good thoughts about that one. So I thought a little bit farther. I said, well, gosh, we went to Black Hills, and that was a crazy first half out there. We went up and down the field and put up some great offensive numbers and really showed those people what we could do with our offense. And that was a great football. That's a pretty good thought. I thought, well, let me just think here. And I turned the page a little bit more. So here now is here's Bemidji. We went to Bemidji, and I thought, well, gee, that was a great football game because we showed so much character in that game, behind 14-0, and come back and win that football game on a windy, lousy day up in Bemidji on that stupid football field they had up there. That was a great win. And I thought, boy, this is, you know, and I kept thinking less and less about the last football game and more about what this group accomplished as we went along. Then I came to the Gypsy Day game against Duluth, and gosh, you know, that was one of the greatest football games. You know, that was one of the strangest football games, one of the greatest football games I ever saw in Aberdeen. And the huge crowd was as big a crowd as we ever had. The excitement was incredible. Boy, that was a great memory. I'm not going to forget that for a long time. I thought, well, geez, you know, a lot of you guys aren't going to be a part of this gathering next year. I thought to myself, 5 years from now, you know, you guys are going to think about that football game too. That was great. Well, then I thought, geez, 2 weeks later we played Moorhead State, and here's a team another great football team, and we beat those guys at home too. Another great football game. Went right to the end. We were behind. We were ahead. Great game. gee, that's a great memory too. So, you know, the memory of that Morris football game just kind of disappeared in my mind yesterday. I, you know, hadn't even thought about it. In fact, now that I think about it, the only thing I remember about that game right now is the weather. It was kind of dark and dreary, but I don't remember anything else about it. But it was a classy football season by a classy group of athletes and a classy group of coaches. And I think that's been the most impressive thing for me to be a part of this organization, is the way that this football team has come together as a group, and this program has come together, and the respect that this program has established, not only in the community, but around the whole area. You know, I travel and I deal with sports information people, and I deal with other coaches and assistant coaches at different schools. And our football program, all of a sudden, in the last 3 or 4 years, now has the respect of a lot of people. Not only in South Dakota, not only in North Dakota, in Minnesota, but in this part of the country. You know, I go to Kansas City last week, and they say, well, you're from Northern State. Oh, you guys had a nice football team last year. I said, yeah, we've had a good football team for a couple of years now. Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah. It's there, and it's great to be a part of that, and I'm happy to be a part of it again, even though I feel like I'm a small part of what you guys have accomplished, certainly in 1989. One story I want to relate to you briefly about the 1989 season that I experienced, and it's an example of how the enthusiasm of this community and the area and the alumni, the guys that played football here at Northern, say 20 years ago, have come together around this program again. And it's just been great. And I've been around it for a lot of years, and it's just wonderful that it's happening again. But the day after the Monday after the Gypsy Day game, I had an appointment to see Dr. Walks. So I go into the doctor's office, and I stop at the nurse's station, and I said, my name is Gene Rich, I'm here to see Dr. Walks. She said, wasn't that a great football game on Saturday? I said, it was. It was a great football game. So I sat down, and I started reading a magazine. I got called in, and Dave Walks, of course, is a big Northern fan, and I sat, and he didn't want to talk about my health, he wanted to talk about the football game. So we talked about the football game for 5 or 10 minutes while the meter's running. Okay, well, later on, I go out and pay get in line to pay the bill. There's a couple of people in line at the window, and the guy in front of me turns around and he says, well, wasn't that a great football game on Saturday? That's the most fun I ever had at a football game in a long time. I said, yeah, it was a good football game. Gee, this is strange. It's the third person in less than 15 minutes that wants to talk about that football game. I pay my bill, I go out around the door, and I talk to Doug Berkeley in the pharmacy. Well, he's a big Northern fan. What's the first thing he says? What a great football game that was on Saturday, and he wants to talk about it too. And that just gives you an idea. 4 people in a stretch of 30 minutes who wanted to talk about Northern football. You know, it's wonderful, and that's great. And I think it's great for the community. It's great for you guys to be a part of the program. For the players that are saying goodbye to the program tonight, for those of you who are going to be around and they're looking forward to spring football, it's got to give you some enthusiasm to know that there are that many people in this community and around the area that are watching what you guys are doing. It's great. And again, it's a credit to your coaching staff. It's a credit to all of you for what you've accomplished and the dedication that you've put into your job. And that's to make this football program the best that it can possibly be. And again, I congratulate you all. It's been a great year. It's, again, a class organization. And I think it's great that we go on the road and that people look at us that way. And it's fun to be a part of that. To win with class, to not be a bunch of jerks on the football field after you win, or to lose with class too. There's certainly a difference. Every year that Dennis has been here, I put together an audio tape for football, and I think in the 10 years that I've covered Northern football, we've returned now 2 kicks for touchdowns. One of those was Brian's, another one was a punt return in Duluth back in about 81 or 80. It's quite a while ago. But those are the only 2 punt returns or kick returns I've ever described. And Brian returned the opening kickoff against Huron for a touchdown. And it so happened that when I got back to the station, I went through the tape of the game that particular Monday or Tuesday to edit that particular play out because I wanted to keep that play for future reference. And as it turned out, the guy that started the tape didn't start the tape until after that play was over. So that's the reason why the play wasn't included. But I just want to apologize for Brian for that. I'm going to miss all you seniors. You guys are a great group. And it's good to see you all again, and I wish you all the best of luck in the future. I congratulate you on what you've accomplished. And again, hats off to you for helping this program become one of the most respected small college football programs in this part of the country. Thank you again, and good luck in the spring, because I know a lot of you are going to be working hard for some of the spots that these guys are going to leave open.
Right here, or you can stand on this side, it's up to you. As seniors, we'll give you that option. You can be here or there, whichever way you want to go. First one is Sam Flockus. Come on up, Sam. Cologne, South Dakota, tight end. Sam had a very interesting 4 years as a football player in Northern. That leaves some room for interpretation, doesn't it? From my first real introduction to Sam as a member of the Freshman Follies, and those of you that remember that was not the greatest introduction to have with Sam Flockus. And if you don't remember it, thank God, it's almost out of here. To the news that Sam was a first-team All-American at the conclusion of this year, his senior year, he's been an unusual athlete for us. His nickname could well be Timex. He took some licks, particularly this past season, but kept right on ticking. Perhaps Sam came of age in the first game versus Kearney State. We called a 56, red right 56. Jason put a little air under it. Sam might say a little bit too much air under the ball. Sam took off downfield, caught the ball, and was absolutely level. I mean, he was just decked. And if you were at the game, and if you can think back, you can remember that play. Well, I know I was one of many who held my breath for a moment, but Sam popped up off the ground, jogged back to the huddle, and I knew then, as everyone else did, that we had ourselves a football player, receiving for a tight end. He was later named All-Conference, All-District, and First-Team All-American. So, congratulations. John Sardis from Geddes, South Dakota. He's a linebacker. John had a great career at Northern State. But besides handling all the intramurals, he also played some pretty good football. He was a real leader by example on the field. To be a good linebacker, you have to be a solid, consistent, disciplined player and do the right thing the majority of the time. But when I think back on John's career at Northern, what comes to mind are big plays. See if you remember these. 1986, Morehead State, block punt. John picks it up, returns it for a touchdown. We beat him, have a winning season. 1987, interception return for a TD versus Winona in the Metrodome. 1988, interception return for a TD versus Bemidji in the Metrodome. He's had more interception returns for touchdowns than Tommy Kramer has thrown in the last few years. 1989, I think the thing that I remember most, and I know there may have been bigger plays, but the thing I remember most was a pass rush we put on the UMD quarterback on 4th down with about 65 seconds left in the game, forcing a lame duck pass that anybody should have intercepted. But didn't. The thing that pleased me the most this year, however, his senior year, was the fact that John practiced with us 3 or 4 days each week. Instead of 1 or 2 as a junior. Of course, that could have been due to the fact that John didn't have to cover James Ashley man for man this year and the year before he had to. Seriously, this ends a tradition that was started several years ago, and for all of us, the tradition may end, but I'm sure the memories will live long into the future. Congratulations. Emmett's from Willow Lake, South Dakota, wide receiver. Many things come to mind when I think of Emmett. But I must be honest now, and without a doubt, Emmett is one of my favorites to come through this program. I'm not sure if it's because I'm jealous over his clothes or what it is, but I have to tell you, this man put the G in GQ. One day he shows up in a Hartschaffner and Mark's 2-piece suit. The next day he comes to our Friday night cheeseburger with cheeseburger snack with a survival look on it. You know, the jeans with the coordinated holes, rips and tears all over the place. Other than the clothing, I think Emmett role models everything that's good and positive about athletics. He persevered for 4 or 5 years when many, if not most, would have decided the work wasn't worth the reward. As the years go by, and the memories change for all of us, and they will, from individual plays to an overview of the college football experience, I hope your memories, Emmett, are as fond of us as ours are of you. Defensive tackle. When Bruce and the rest of us found out he couldn't play football his senior year due to a bad back, it was a crushing blow. It was a crushing blow to our defense, our team, but most importantly, Bruce. But as with many things, as time passed, the bad faded into the background and all the good times came into focus. When I think about Bruce, for some odd reason, I think of a big old St. Bernard. What do you think of when you think of a St. Bernard? You think of just the happiest, biggest old guy. His actions always said to me, I'm happy to be alive, having a good time. Bruce was a great weight trainer, and he took it very seriously. On numerous occasions, his high school coach, Harvey Nas, told me what a great role model Bruce was down in the weight room in winter, how all the kids looked up to him and all wanted to be just like him. Well, you've been a great role model for us too, Bruce. Assistant South Dakota quarterback, known by some as Land Shark, for all the yardage he ate up throwing the football. I probably know Jason better than most of the people in this room. Working closely with someone on game plans, film working on the sidelines during the game gives you a real insight into the person. We've had some funny moments together over the years, although they may not have been funny at the time. This year, during one of the games, something happened. I can't recall what. Jason was hot. I came up to him to say something. He jumped on me pretty good. Well, naturally, I jumped back, and finally Jason said, "Don't talk to me when I'm mad. You should know better than that." He's right, I should have. But then I thought, when would I ever have a chance to talk to him? That was typical Jason, a competitor to the end. The other thing that has struck me about Jason is a number of times during interviews when he would say how surprised he was to even be good enough to play college football. Well, Jason was good enough to play. He ended up 5th on the all-time list for passing yardage with 11,180 some odd yards. Now that's not, just so we understand the accomplishment, that's not 5th in NAIA football. That's 5th in all of college football, every level. Division I, Doug Flutie's, everybody else. What I look for in a quarterback is someone who can take everything that goes with being a quarterback. The praise and media attention that goes with having success, and the loneliness of being the guy everyone notices when something goes wrong. And yet perform the job, lead the team in a consistent, successful manner. And Jason was a quarterback. Congratulations. I feel kind of funny being up here talking about Jason Pockle when his dad could do a much better job. But Coach Haregrove was sick tonight, so I take a hold for him. Seriously, Jason was a great addition to our team 2 years ago. We don't recruit very many JC players, but the few we recruit have usually been top shelf, and Jason was no exception. When Jason had his knee injury against Huron, even the most optimistic of us thought his season was over, except for perhaps a token appearance late in the season. Instead, he attacked his rehab with the same intensity he did most other things, and before you know it, 3 weeks after knee surgery, was back ready to play and get after it. One memory that comes to mind about Jason, and I think it epitomizes his whole style of playing football, or his whole intensity, which I always felt he had a great deal of, is Jason had some friends from South St. Paul who played for Morehead State. And he related the story of a New Year's Eve when, I'm sure not all the story, but part of the story, when they'd ask him what time it was, and he'd say, I don't know, and they'd lift up their shirt and they'd look at their NIC championship watch. Jason would respond, we'll see next year, and check the time. Well, the time was good last year versus Morehead State, and Jason played a big role in that, which is unbelievable after a knee surgery. I think that kind of typifies Jason's career. Congratulations. Brian's from Fort Benton, Montana. He's a wide receiver. Brian's another JC transfer who made good at Northern. 2 memories stand out when I reflect on Brian. He was a legitimate urban cowboy. The first memory involves the urban cowboy's haircut. and the little tail he had. It's a very colorful tail, I might add. He used to wear it, you know, and the coaches all came up to me and they said, Brian's haircut, is she going to do something about it? You know, and it was right in the back of his head, and I didn't see it. So I'd come up and I'd look at it. It's fine to me, I could never see it. And then one day during skeleton passing drill, he happened to be running down the field and I saw this little tail. Well, we finally resolved that in an acceptable manner. We cut it off. Second thing I remember is the stitches he received on Friday night at Bemidji State. We were all a little nervous about that game, whether we want to admit it or not. And so on Friday at practice, he tries to trick catch a ball between his fingers. But instead they split and he needed 7 stitches. I was worried he wouldn't play, and he kept reassuring, saying, don't worry, Coach, I'll be fine. And sure enough, next day he plays, in a lot of pain, I'm sure, but guts it out and ends up being a clutch receiver in that game and throughout his career. And I think the one thing I can say is that he continued to get better and better every week and every day in practice, and I think that's the mark of a real successful football player. Congratulations. From City, South Dakota, inside linebacker. Another in a line of great linebackers at Northern State. I couldn't think about Brian as a football player without seeing him with his teeth out. Looking just like, in my memory, as Jack Lambert, the great linebacker that played for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Only once did Brian's teeth get us both into trouble. Versus UMD during Brian's sophomore year. Now, I want you to know everything I'm telling up here is a true story, and this is a true story. Versus UMD during Brian's sophomore year, that was when we didn't huddle up on the field for punts. We just ran onto the field because we saw somebody else do that, thought it was a great idea. We ran onto the field. Well, we sent in the fake punt call with Brian. He doesn't wear his teeth now. The snapper knew because he was standing right next to us. But when Brian tried to tell Mike Sarda, it came out so wild that no one had a clue. Fake punt. Is that true? Consequently, the ball is snapped. It hits Mike Sarda on the shoulder pad. UMD recovers, and they're off to the races. I got into trouble because I let Coach Hummel know of my displeasure, and the rest, as they say, is a part of Northern history. Over the years, we've watched Brian grow as a linebacker. When he came here, and there's only a few that remember, when he came here, he was a slow, small linebacker, and he became a big, fast, strong linebacker. Brian was the very first player I ever personally signed in Northern State. That's a pretty great start. Tom has been, for the past several years, one of the great outside backers in our conference. No team has ever been able to successfully run wide on us for years, and he's set a standard by which all future outside linebackers will be judged at Northern. It hasn't always been easy, however, for Tom. And I don't think Tom knows this. He's had to live, he knows this, he's had to live in the close confines of Coach Heupel for the past 3 years. I'm sure unknown to Tom, however, is he represented the Wolves the same way Mike Eruzione represented the gold medal winning hockey team of 1980. What Herb Brooks did in that gold medal hockey team is anytime he wanted to holler at the team, and he had to set up with Eruzione ahead of time, unfortunately Hype didn't set this up with Tom, anytime he wanted to holler at the team, he'd holler at Eruzione. And he told Mike Eruzione, when I say that now, don't get upset, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to the team. But anytime he wanted to holler at Mike Eruzione, he'd say, Mike! Well, whenever Coach Heupel needed to make a point, instead of embarrassing everyone, he just embarrassed Tom, and it served the same purpose. Without a doubt, the aftermath of the Huron College game that we lost in Tom's junior year typifies the type of player Tom was. We come to the sidelines and we're about to say our team prayer, and all of a sudden Tom collapses. Remember that? Don't tell me you don't remember. Tom collapses. He was hyperventilating, and we had to get our trainer over there, and we had to get our medics over there and everything else. And it's a cliche, but we always tell our athletes to give everything they have and to leave it on the field. And Tom certainly did. But the great part of that is it wasn't just at the Huron game, it was all of us. Tom was a great one. Congratulations. South Dakota center. Clark, otherwise known as Chauncey, I have no idea where that came from, and I'm afraid to ask, quite frankly. Has been looked at by me, and I've stated this numerous times, as perhaps the best athlete on the team. Who really knows that for sure? We don't, but we all had a chance to see one of the great plays ever versus Huron this past season. We're on the 3-yard line, just about to score, and our pass is intercepted. The DB takes off for the other end zone, and Clark goes from his pass protecting position, chases down the DB on the other 40-yard line. That was a great play made by a great player. Chauncey's always been a very quiet individual, at least in public settings or around the coaching staff. Again, I'm telling the facts here. At the conclusion of the season, we had the captains speak uptown at the quarterbacks club. And this is true, I was feeling very nervous for Clark. Honest, I felt bad. I thought, God, I shouldn't be doing this for Clark, because I thought he was a wreck having to speak to this group. He gets up and does a stand-up comedy routine for 10 minutes. I finally had to make him sit down and give the other guys a chance to talk. Clark has started every game at center for 4 years, and his shoes will be big, fast, strong, and funny ones to fill. Congratulations. South Dakota, I want to make sure I get that right. One more last chance. Wolf. The Mummy. Why the Mummy? Because he has, over his career, literally been bandaged from head to toe. I can't help but think of two sides of Wade when I begin to reminisce about him. The one side is all the injuries he has had. He could have been a barely living example for my first aid class. I wouldn't call him injury prone, but how many other people do you know that go to a wedding and come back with stitches in their head from swimming? In succession, he has had a hamstring injury, an ankle injury, a head injury, a shoulder injury, and a thumb injury. We've had to eliminate one trainer now that Wade is no longer playing. The second side of Wade that I think of much more often, however, is the side that played with all those injuries, that played when most others wouldn't. There was a verbal leader in every seniors meeting we had, and was really an emotional leader on our defense. In his first game as a starting freshman free safety, he intercepted 2 passes versus Valley City and was named the first ever Wendy's Wolf of the Week. And he only got better from there. Wade has been a real inspiration to me and to a lot of others. Congratulations. Dean, Roncalli High School cornerback. The normal transition from high school to college is to be a high school DB, move on to linebacker or something similar to that. Normal is not moving from offensive guard to defensive back. That's what Mark did. Mark had a great career. He also was involved with the Intramural Debate Club. Coach Heupel coined the name of the Roncalli Debate Club because every time something was being done, they would ask why, wonder about the merit of it, vote on it, and then do it. Mark was the leader of the debate club, but I'm sure Kevin will carry that on in fine style. When you're a successful lawyer, Mark, just remember you got your first opportunity to plead your cases with our football program. I give you a great compliment, Mark, when I call you an overachiever. Mark took all his God-given ability and used it to the fullest. He rounded out his Northern career as a first-team academic All-American football player. I personally feel very comfortable with the knowledge that Mark will be out in the legal system helping to shape the way things will be in the future for all of us. Congratulations. It goes to Matt Johnson from Granite Falls. And the most inspirational award, again, voted on by the players, goes to an extremely inspirational person that we're all going to miss, Brian Schmidt. And I'm Jason Landmark. Lineman Kevin Cox. Defensive back Kevin Fiedler. Defensive back Wade McKittrick. receiver Darren Ferner. He's not a basketball player, guys. Offensive lineman Clark Lofgren. We recognize all District 12. The All-Conference Awards, first team All-Conference Awards. Inside linebacker Brian Schmidt. Inside linebacker John Sarda. Quarterback Jason Landmark. People to stand and be recognized. The Don Hanson All-American team. First team Brian Schmidt. And the National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics, the NAIA All-American team, first team Sam Flackus. I'll tell you a funny story about, it's not funny, but it's an interesting story about that. I was told the conference coaches and the different coaches that I talked to felt that Sam had very little chance to get All-American because they're going to look at his size and they'll say he's not a tight end, he's just a converted wide receiver. And talked to Ross Forchie, who is on the committee that helped select the All-Americans, and Sam was, with the exception of 2 votes, a unanimous first-team All-American choice. So despite your small stature, Sam, you impressed some people along the way. Second-team All-American quarterback Jason Landmark. Honorable mention All-American John Sarda. And first-team academic All-American Mark McNeary. Now for the senior awards. The name of the player on it, 1989-90, Wolves football family, 8-2 record. These will go to our seniors, and if you'd please come up and pick those up. Sam Flackus. Jason Landmark. John Sarda. Wade McKittrick. Jason Pockel. Hoffman. Can you believe a guy that walks like that can run so fast? Emmett Workentine. Tommy Sire. Brian Burney. Bruce Daughters.
Everybody here good? Well, at this time I'd like to thank you all for coming to the annual 1990 athletic banquet sponsored by the Geddes Commercial Club here this evening. Looks like we have an awful nice evening here, and I guess to get things started at this time I'd like to ask Greg first if he'd please come forward and he'd give us our blessing here for the meal tonight. Mr. Sanchez, he's our speaker here for tonight. So we'd like to make those important announcements here tonight. And I guess the first thing on the schedule we'd like to do here is we'd like to call the Warm Athletics supporter up here tonight, Mr. Petke, for his football comments.
Tonight, you the people are the thing that makes us go for it. As far as the 1989-90 football season, we're off to a good start. The record ended up with 2-6. Everybody knows the results. Kind of what happened as far as the end of the season, dealing with injuries and the lack of numbers and so on. But at the end of the year, we had a JV game, and I tell you what, it was a lot of fun. Kids really had a lot of enthusiasm, and I think we might be small, but they're ready to go. They want to make sure that the program next year is off to another good start, and hopefully everything goes all right and we finish off with a good, strong program next year. Okay, first of all, I'd like all the members of the 1989 football squad to stand. First of all, seniors, Mike Davidson, Matt Slava, Ray Slava, Steve Sluka. 8th grade, Frank Yeager. Manager, Bobby Shinoff. And then our junior high squad this year, Jason Gannon. Yes, 76 souls, 24 assists for 16.7 average. So most tackles goes to Jim Diaz.
Juniors are Michelle Stitt, Amy Sarda, and Jeanine Petrie. Our lone sophomores, Tony Knudsen. We have freshmen Katie Barkley, Jill Kriz, Michelle Shinahan, Tess Barley, and Jenny O'Rourke. That's Jenny. And our 8th graders, Tara Barley, Molly Barkley, and Joni Dufek. 7th achievement, I think. That was Janine Petrie. Okay, as far as our all-conference, it was announced for girls, our all-conference players, who want to stand up and be recognized, was Amy Sarda and Janine Petrie. And our honorable mention was Ann Yeager. Okay, the girls got together and voted for their most valuable player this year. And like I said before, leadership means a lot. And that went to Ann Yeager this year, most valuable player. Don't read that, Ann. Somebody else will give you the right one, okay? Our most improved player too went to a lot of different girls, a whole lot of them. But the girls agreed that this year Katie Barkley deserved most improved. And our hustler, the person that gets out there every day and just goes at it hard, as hard as she can, and that was Amy Sarda. Highly respected. Two of them got into the region. We played them to pretty tough ball games, and they were pretty impressed with us. We didn't finish the year in the districts quite like we'd like to have, but it took a lot out of us, I believe, the last 2 weeks, playing as many games in a row as we did. The seniors, our juniors, Greg First, Tracy First, the juniors. Our sophomore was Terry Kriz. Freshman. And these freshmen really started playing well in that B team. For those of you who came and seen those little B games there at the end of the year. Ray Slava, Brett Hager, Mark Petrie, Steve Slug, and Matt Slava. Our 8th graders, one 8th grader, Frank Yeager, and Bonnie Shinhoff, sorry Bob, and Jeff Dufek, our 7th grader. You guys, I tell you what, you guys did a real good job. I'm proud of you. Okay, for most rebounds and for field goal percentage, it's Greg Van Zee. Okay, free throw percentage and most assists went to Jim Nias. Okay, these guys have been kind of bugging me for about a week and a half about all-conference. All-conference team came out today. We had one all-conference player, and that was Jim Nias. We had 2 that made honorable mention. That was Greg First and Greg Van Zee. Okay, our plaque awards. Fellas got together, and Mr. Embry and I, and voted here at the end of the year. Come up a tie the first time. Our most improved player was Terry Kriz. Now you all know him, and as hustle as he did in football, he did the same in basketball, and it was great first.
Before I introduce the track team, I'd like to introduce 4 of the junior high basketball players that really helped me out this year. I was the coach of the B team, and towards the middle and end of part of the season, we had a few injuries and a few kids that couldn't make the games from sickness and a bunch of other stuff. And let's see, we had Bob Schulte, Bill Schulte, Robert Peter, and Jason Gant all came out from the junior high team to help me out with the B team. I'd like to give them a round of applause. For the track team this year is the red-faced people in the crowd. we had a meet yesterday in Armour. I'd like to thank the parents that showed up for that meet. Had a pretty good turnout for parents and fans. I'd like to remind you we have a meet in Platte on Saturday, for those of you that can show back up. And right now, we have no senior girls out for track. Couldn't talk Annie into it. Senior boys, we got Greg Van Zee and Heath Knudsen. Heath is at home studying, I'm told. Junior girls, we have Dean Petrick, Amy Sarda, and Michelle Sipp. For junior boys, Greg First and Tracy First. Sophomore girls, Tanya Knudsen. Is she here? Tanya. No. Sophomore boys, Carrie Kriz. Freshman girls, we have Tess Varlick, Katie Barkley, Jenny Overbroadley. Freshman boys, we have Mark Petrick, Matt Slava, and Ray Slava. For 8th grade girls, we have Molly Barkley, Joni Dufek, Tara Barlick, and Chas Merkwan. For 8th grade boys, Bobby Shinahan. 7th grade girls, Lynette Mice, and 7th grade boy, Jeff Dufek. Thank you.
We'll start with some thank yous first. Commercial Club, the community, and the students for supporting this banquet we have yearly. We're one of the few towns that continue to have one. And with the support that we're getting from the community, I think we'll continue to have it. I'd like to compliment the cafe. Dufek's always put on a good meal for us. I will recognize the people other than athletes. The coaches kind of stole part of my thunder in introducing the cheerleaders. Maybe we won't go through that again, or maybe we should. Football cheerleaders, Karina Christensen, Barb Scott, Michelle Sipp, and Christina Varley. Girls basketball, Christina Varley, Karina Christensen, and Tammy Dufek. Boys basketball, Ann Yeager, Susan Barkley, Barb Scott, and Michelle Sipp. Okay, their advisor, pep band. And I'm going to ask the members of the pep band to please stand. Maybe I should now, he would prefer that I call him an acquaintance. When we had Willie here the last time, he had a little run-in with a coach up in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Not a lot was said about it. So I invite him back again this year, and he has a run-in on national TV. He makes the headlines in all the papers in the country, and I'm thinking maybe I'm jinxing him. He may enlarge on this a little bit later, but Willie, I still call you my friend. And thanks for coming. Fan of the Year is selected. We have a committee of cheerleaders, coaches, and players that get together and select 3 men and 3 women. And then we have those people who are cheerleaders or participants vote on these, and the coaches. This year, we'll go with, to show you that chauvinism still lives. We'll start with the female fan of the year first. Goes to Sharon Kriz.
All-Star Game, Business Development Officer for Sunbanks, Florida Incorporated, high school teacher, coach, and college instructor at the University of Oklahoma. Major college basketball official, and some of the major awards is Minor League Executive of the Year by the Sporting News in 1979, and won the Outstanding Young Men of America, the JCs, for 1978. He's married, has 2 children, and I'd like to ask all of you to give Mr. William Sanchez Jr. a good-hearted Getty's welcome.
Well, I want to thank you for the invite. I was talking with Mick and trying to determine how long it had been since I was here. And I know you've got a date there, young lady, and I'll try to be real quick so you can get out of here. This young girl over here was looking at her watch and I just got started. But anyway, whether it was 5 years or 4 years, I really thoroughly enjoyed it because it was really my first opportunity to really get into what I call rural South Dakota. And I say rural South Dakota, I live out in the country. I live out on a farm. I love rural South Dakota. I love it simply because I was raised in the city. I married a girl that was a city folk from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. We moved in 1981 on the farm out in Harrisburg, South Dakota. I'm going to tell you something. The backbone of the United States of America is rural America. And I'm so proud of the fact that my kids are part of that rural community. They're part of the FFA and everything else involved with rural communities. And I'll tell you what, as long as I'm alive, I'm going to be out on the farm. So I tip my hat to you guys here in Getty's, what I consider the backbone of America. You know, when you have the opportunity to come out here and speak and listen to a lot of what we used to call BS, and I'll tell you what, I would bet money, and I had never met this gentleman before, but I would bet money that Mick right here has somewhere in his family or is himself a politician. Is that right? Is he? Are you a politician? Somebody, it's always a pleasure, and I